Alain de Cadenet, the legend that is Alain de Cadenet, has been Akil Haggerty. That's a face that a few people will know.
Peter Mullin.
Derek Bell. Needs no introduction from me.
I'm Lynn St. James, and I am a race car driver.
Lauren Holber is
Doug Nye. Damien Smith. We have Bill Warner. I have Jochen Mass with me.
Simon Taylor. Is Richard Earle, Peter Larson, John Mason Taylor, Jamie Lincoln Kitman, Winston Goodfellow, Andy Reedsford, Duccio Lopresto, there's Jay Ward, Gordon McCall is young Ken Gross, Sandra Button, welcome Sandra.
Massimo Delbo.
My name is Richard Charlesworth.
Finally, we have Philip Porter.
And Dave Kinney, and we all have to be very nice to him because Dave is the head judge of the Concours Virtual. So gentlemen, hopefully you can see the share screen. Can you both see that? This is the car he drove when he was over in Germany. Did he bring it back with him or did it stay there?
Brought it back. It got painted red. It got lost in a barn in Northern California, and it was found, what, 7-8 years ago, Jay?
There's a guy in the States, Cale Yarborough, they called him the original no-neck monster because he had a short neck and with the helmet on, you couldn't see.
My father passed away in May of 12. And my mother gave us, each of us, 1/3 of my dad's ashes. So I spread half of them at Pebble Beach, don't tell anybody. And the other half I brought with me to Bonneville. And I just had the idea, my dad and I always wanted to go to Bonneville together. I've been many times, he'd never gone. And I said, Bruce, I know we're not supposed to do this, but I've got a little bit of my dad's ashes. And he's like, oh, heck yeah. And we packed it in the chute. And he had the GoPro pointing backwards, and the ashes spread at about probably 207, 208 that day. You were still kind of notching up. And it was just the coolest thing. And that is the spirit of Bonneville.
We all read these wonderful books at school on going on adventures, with against Napoleon, or going on adventures with the Duke of Wellington. But somebody produced Motorsport's letter that Dennis Jenkinson had written for publication in 1955. And we all read that. And all of a sudden, we didn't want to be soldiers or pilots. We wanted to be racing drivers to emulate this amazing gentleman, Sir Sterling Moss.
I have run Bonneville, and I have joined the 200 Mile an Hour Club, which was one of the great days of my life. But I enjoy from Bonneville to Indy to Le Mans. They're all my favorites.
And the Italian press christened it Little Miss Elegance because it was so small.
As it shows further down with your canine companion as well.
And were you saying that's the Jim Clark Elan behind you, Gregor?
Yeah, there it is. It lives up in Scotland with us.
What was the origin of the car? So why it was originally built?
Yeah.
And what is the legacy?
I'm trying to get in the 200 Mile an Hour Club, Bruce.
Okay.
Actually, I'm a Le Mans veteran. I've drunk a load of beer there. I'm sure that counts. Race.
And the design of this car is so aerodynamic, is airplane inspired in a way, as you see from the fins.
And you may know the chap who's having a drink there.
Yes, well, that is good old, the late Sir Sterling Moss.
Yeah, the interesting thing for me is I'm of the age that I'm happy to tell everyone that within earshot that I hated the look of the Bentley Continental when I was a teenager and when I was in my 20s. And in my 30s, I reevaluated the looks, and now it's actually one of my favorite cars.
I mean, come on, the Nash, the Pininfarina, Statesman. I mean, this is a really cool looking car, and it's very unique. And Battista Pininfarina's got his fingertips. I mean, it's his fingerprints all over this beauty.
Yeah. But then it's an interesting one to judge, because when you look at it, it's looking amazingly shiny for an unrestored car.
It's like, but when you go into the London of Brighton and you see, in particular, so many of these veteran cars, 1904 or older, still working, each of them with their cantankerous and really different approaches to try to make early mobility work, early automobiles work. And yet you'll see young people driving them. You'll see grandparents and, granddaughters driving the car, for its 70th London to Brighton run. It just gives you heart that the car world endures.